and welcome to a brand new episode of The Ripple Effect. I'm Seth, and today I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a supposedly real life story of a Sasquatch attack. That's right, Sasquatch, also known as Bigfoot and the Himalayan Yeti.
So let's get started.
The story is about Jeff Boiler. So Jeff Boiler was a newly appointed deputy sheriff in the Cascade Mountains, Oregon, and he was an ex-Marine. So one day he decided to take a walk into the Cascade Mountains. So and he was very experienced in the outdoors, and so he took out his compass and was trying to figure out which direction to go to. And from the corner of his eye, he felt that he saw a big a s- like a big figure looking at him from a distance. But he thought maybe it's nothing. It's just his imagination playing tricks on him. And he kept looking at the map and trying to figure out which direction he had to go to. So as Jeff walked further and further into the forest, he had a very strong feeling that he was being followed. So Jeff, Jeff kept walking, and suddenly he felt that he saw that figure again. And now Jeff had his alarms ringing in his head, and he reached out for his weapon. But before he could reach out to his weapon, the creature suddenly disappeared. It moved too fast to have been a human. Curious Jeff followed it. He reached the open area where he had seen the creature, Jeff was unable to locate any tracks to follow. Unfortunately, Jeff was in a position where if he didn't turn back, then he wouldn't make it back to his car before dark. So he turned back, taking a route that he hoped would put more space between him and the creature. That was when he heard enormous snapping sound like a gunfire, like a big thud. Boom! Nothing short of a breaking tree that could have made such a massive sound. Jeff began to run. He heard another loud snap within moments. Jeff, a former Marine and a long-time police officer, was scared to death. And as darkness encroached, the snaps began to get closer and closer. The creature could not see him, but Jeff could see it. Jeff could not see the creature, but the creature could see him. Jeff's run halted in a clearing when he encountered a deer. And the deer didn't seem afraid of Jeff. While he stood there, the deer sniffed the air and then took off as fast as he had ever seen a deer run. At that moment, Jeff knew he was being watched. He was convinced that he was being hunted. He took off running for his car, and the snapping of the trees followed, growing closer and closer. They finally stopped when he reached the car. Jeff fumbled with the keys to the car, knowing that the creature could attack at any moment. After a few heart stopping attempts to start the car, the engine finally turned over, allowing him to escape. When he got back to the sheriff's office, he needed to talk to someone, so he confided to the sheriff about what he had encountered. The sheriff informed him that there had been many such reports of big, hairy creatures all over the area. He told Jeff not to write up a report. Now the question arises, what was that figure, the creature that was following him and watching him? Could it be a Sasquatch? Or could it be a man who's just stalking him, or maybe his mind was playing tricks? I don't know. What do you guys think? Please comment in the section below and let us know. So, what do I feel about ghosts, supernatural cryptids, sea creatures, etc.? Well, I feel that there is something out there because people have been spotting uh, creatures and supernatural and aliens for centuries. And I'm pretty sure there is some truth to it, and we need to explore more in this direction and with an open mind. What do you think, Mala? What do you feel about all this?
Hell yes, I believe in this stuff, Seth. So I have grown up watching horror movies, and the sight of blood doesn't faze me in the slightest. So I love watching slow burner horror movies like The Shining, The Witch, Babadook, as they all have a psychological angle to them and are not filled with cheap jump scares. I also love listening to a lot of jinn stories, and some of them have actually given me goosebumps. So yes, every culture all over the world have their fair share of legendary supernatural stories. So without going into too much detail, I would like to talk to you about the US. The US was actually founded by British and European settlers who were free to practice any religion of their choice. So this was great news for all these immigrants because they were able to practice any religion of their choice in this new country. Europe, on the other hand, only allowed you to practice Christianity. So now you have all these immigrants coming into this new country where they are free to practice any religion of their choice. So a lot of these people came practicing Wicca, which is paganism, which is actually a form of witchcraft. Others believed in Satan or devil worship. A lot of the land in North America was taken away from the native Red Indians who had also cursed a lot of the land. So you have these crazy mix of elements coming together, which is what you see a lot in the horror movies, or we hear in the horror stories today, such as the Amityville House or Exorcism. They all originate from the US. Similarly, other countries such as India, Japan, Korea, Africa all have their share of supernatural stories which frighten and excite our imagination. So, for all of you horror fans out there, our movie pick of the day is called The Abominable, which actually came out in the year 2006. And hang on, for those of you who want to know more about the occult, there's a book which I strongly recommend. It's called Sinister Forces. It's a fantastic read. So go check these out, guys. And if you liked watching our channel, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.
So I hope you liked today's story, and if you did, please let us know in the comment box, and we'll post more stories about yetis, ghosts, supernatural sea creatures, and lots more. So until then, please take care of yourselves, and remember to be kind to animals. Always be kind to animals. Adios.